Hello, how are you today? Do you want to dive into a book that might just surprise you, whether it becomes your next favorite or one you might skip? Let's find out what readers are saying about it.
Shanta's book era who has 15 likes says, "We All Live Here" is a humorous and intimate look at the challenges of a divorced middle-aged woman. Navigating children, parents, dating, and reduced income. I loved this premise but only liked this book as I didn't really connect with the characters. I listened to the audiobook and wonder if I would have liked it more reading it. In the past, 2 of Jojo Moyes' books were 5 stars for me. This has more of a rom-com beach read feel. And it is perfect for that. It is entertaining but not a story that will stay with me. Bernadette who has 16 likes says, "We All Live Here" by Jojo Moyes is a beautifully crafted, emotionally resonant novel that will stay with you long after you turn the final page. Moyes' gift for creating rich, multi-dimensional characters is on full display here, as she brings to life a cast of unforgettable individuals who will capture your heart and imagination. This is a book that will make you laugh, cry, and feel everything in between. Moyes expertly weaves together moments of humor and heartbreak, creating a story that is both deeply moving and genuinely funny. I found myself getting teary-eyed at one particularly touching scene, a testament to Moyes' ability to craft emotionally authentic moments that never feel manipulative or overdone. At its core, We All Live Here is a celebration of the human experience. With all its joys, sorrows, and quirks, Moyes' writing is a joy to read, and I found myself fully immersed in the world she creates. It's hard to imagine another book this year topping the experience of reading this one. In short, We All Live Here is a must-read for anyone who loves richly drawn characters, emotionally resonant storytelling, and a healthy dose of humor. Moyes has crafted a truly unforgettable novel that will leave you feeling both uplifted and deeply moved. Thank you to Jojo Moyes, Viking Penguin, and NetGalley for sending me the EARC in exchange for an honest review. Niloufar Ozmekik who has 85 likes says, "I honestly loved this book not just for its wildly dysfunctional family dynamics, but also for the humorously heartwarming, surprisingly tender moments that gently tugged at my heartstrings. Sure, there's plenty of drama, resentment, grief, heartbreak, and sadness swirling through the story. But just like real life, there are also laugh-out-loud moments tucked inside the chaos, unexpected flashes of humor that make you savor the delicious complexity of great storytelling. Every single character here is messy, flawed, and carrying their own burdens. Nobody wears the perfect hero's cape, and that's exactly what makes them so wonderfully real. And let's be honest, the most infuriating side character crown easily goes to Philippa Graham, yet somehow, you find yourself empathizing even with the most imperfect one, Seven, the cheating husband and his new, much younger partner. For me, though, Gene absolutely stole the show. The so-called bad dad who ditched his family for a shot at acting glory somehow carries a rogue's irresistible charm that makes it impossible to stay mad at him for long. I adored the way he clumsily yet endearingly tried to patch up the past, especially through his hilarious and unexpectedly touching interactions with his granddaughters. The heart of the story revolves around Lila Kennedy, who has far too much on her plate. Her longtime husband leaves her for a woman half his age, fathering a baby with her, and then has the audacity to demand cutting her alimony right when Lila is grieving the sudden loss of her mother, Francesca. And if that weren't enough, Francesca's posthumously published book, ironically about maintaining a good marriage, hits the bestseller lists, branding Lila's family as the ultimate hypocrites. Meanwhile, Lila's teenage daughter Celie is battling her own high school nightmares, from being bullied by former friends to skipping classes for weed-smoking park sessions. Little Violet struggles quietly to adjust to the family's crumbling normal. And Lila's stepfather, Bill, who was supposed to stay temporarily, is slowly but surely moving himself and every quirky possession, including a nude portrait of Francesca, into their home. As if things weren't chaotic enough, Bill hires a charming landscaper named Jensen, whose warm presence in their garden and maybe in Lila's heart stirs up feelings she didn't expect. And just when she's clinging to any shred of sanity, Lila's estranged father Gene reappears out of nowhere, igniting a hilarious turf war between the two aging men. Caught between grief deadlines, her agent is begging her to write a racy widow's awakening novel. And maybe, just maybe, the possibility of new romance with a handsome widowed architect at school. Lila faces the ultimate question: can she rediscover joy when life feels like one endless pile of disasters? Let me tell you, there is so much drama packed in this book. I found myself yelling at Lila at times, frustrated by her choices, but somehow my heart never stopped rooting for her. Among all the chaos, there's so much beauty in the unexpected ways life brings happiness back to you. And those heart-melting moments truly made my heart sing. This was hands down one of the most enjoyable reading experiences I've had lately. As a longtime fan of the author, I can wholeheartedly recommend diving into this gem of a story. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll want to hug these chaotic characters tight. Don't miss it. Medium, com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Michelle, who has 15 likes, says 3.75. This is the first Jojo Moyes I've read in a long time. At first, it had a lot of similarities to Sophie Coussin's recent book, but it did quickly diverge. Overall, I think this was a great look at a 40-something woman whose life is experiencing many speed bumps, seemingly all at once. This makes you very sympathetic to her plight, because having to live near your ex-husband who cheated on you and is now having a baby with his mistress, who just so happens to have a son who goes to the same school as your youngest, would be enough to send me over the edge. We follow almost a year of Lila's life as she tries to get back up and running as an author, pick up the pieces in her life, handle the drama of her stepfather and father living under her roof, and try and start dating again. It's a lot. Oh, and did I mention her house is a modern version of the money pit? It almost seemed too weighted towards disaster. After about halfway through the book, my empathy for Lila started to lose steam. She made some really stupid decisions. But we can't all be perfect. I liked this book and thought it was well done, but it was a little too long. I think if it had been shorter, and while it did a good job of discussing the ramifications of divorce, caring for older parents, being a working mother, etc., it was kind of repetitive. Or maybe I've just read a lot of books with similar plots. It also could be the timing for me. Maybe if I hadn't read a few similar books, I listened to this one and the narration was wonderful. With longer books, listening to the audiobook definitely helps, and it made some of the exploits between the characters enjoyable and equally emotional when the time called for it. Would 100 recommend listening to the audiobook. Thank you to Viking Books Pamela Dorman Books for the gifted copy, and PRH Audio for the gifted audiobook. Review date 02/10/2025. Publication date 02/11/2025. Val Shameless Handmaiden, who has 103 likes, says 3.75 stars. This was my second Jojo Moyes books, and much like my first read by her, I really enjoyed her writing. She is very talented and writes great characters. The pages fly. But again, like the other book I've read by her and rated similarly, this just didn't hit enough to be a true 45 star. I still really enjoyed it though. I loved Bill, Gene, and Jensen, and the play scene was specifically memorable. I also liked Sally's character arc. I think I wanted more from Lila's. Not that hers wasn't decent. Something just felt missing for me. Favorite quote because it's only hurt people who hurt people.